A long, long time ago, in a distant past, there was a small village surrounded by deep mountains and clear rivers. In this village, an old man and an old woman lived together. They were both old, but they helped each other every day, living a simple life. The old man would go into the mountains to gather firewood, and the old woman would go to the river to wash clothes. One day, as usual, the old woman sat by the river, washing clothes. The clear water flowed gently, and she could feel the peaceful rhythm of nature around her. But suddenly, something strange happened. From upstream, she heard a loud sound. The old woman looked up and squinted her eyes. What could that be? She wondered. And then she saw a large, shining peach floating down the river. The peach was so big, it looked magical. It slowly drifted closer and closer to the old woman. The old woman was very surprised. But she reached into the water and pulled the big peach onto the riverbank. The peach was heavy and warm, and the old woman felt that it must be something special. This is no ordinary peach, she thought. It must be a gift from the gods. Believing this, the old woman carefully carried the peach home, holding it close as she walked back to the house. When she got home, she showed the peach to the old man. And they were both amazed. "Let's cut this big peach and eat it together," the old woman said. "Surely it's a gift from the gods." The old man nodded, picked up a sharp knife, and carefully prepared to cut the peach. But just as he touched the peach with the knife, the peach split open, and from inside came a healthy baby boy. The old man and old woman were speechless, their eyes wide with amazement. Before them was a miracle, something they had never imagined. "What is this?" the old woman whispered, her voice trembling. They named the baby Momotaro, meaning Peach Boy, and raised him as if he were their own grandson. Years passed, and Momotaro grew into a strong, smart, and kind-hearted young man. His courage and strength were well known throughout the village. Momotaro studied swordsmanship to protect the village and helped those in need. His name became famous for his brave actions. One day, Momotaro stood before the old man and old woman, his eyes full of determination. "Father, Mother," he said, "I've made up my mind. I'm going to Monster Island to defeat the evil monsters who have been troubling our village." Hearing this, tears welled up in the old woman's eyes. But she could feel Momotaro's strong will, and she quietly nodded. "If you are going to fight the monsters, take this with you," she said, handing him special millet dumplings that she had carefully made. "These dumplings aren't just food. They are a charm to give you strength." She placed the dumplings in Momotaro's hand, her voice filled with love and hope. With the dumplings tied to his waist, Momotaro set out on his journey to Monster Island. Under the bright blue sky, he crossed mountains and rivers. Along the way, he met a dog. The dog ran up to him and blocked his path. "Momotaro, where are you going?" the dog asked. Momotaro answered firmly, "I'm going to Monster Island to defeat the evil monsters." The dog's eyes shone with excitement. "In that case, let me join you. Please give me one of your dumplings." Momotaro smiled and gave the dog a dumpling. From then on, the dog became a loyal companion, and the two of them continued their journey. A little further on, they met a monkey. The monkey, too, heard about Momotaro's adventure, and said, "I'll go with you. Give me one of your dumplings." Momotaro gave the monkey a dumpling, and the monkey joined the group. Finally, a brave pheasant came flying down from the sky. "If you're going to defeat the monsters, I'll help too. Please give me a dumpling." Momotaro gave the pheasant a dumpling, and now, with the dog, monkey, and pheasant by his side, he had a strong team. Momotaro and his companions finally arrived at Monster Island. It was said that the monsters had stolen treasures from the village and caused suffering for many people. Momotaro stood before the gates of the monsters' stronghold, drew his sword, and shouted, "Monsters, come out! We have come to defeat you." The gates creaked open, and out came the red and blue monsters, followed by the leader of the monsters. The leader held a giant spiked club and shouted with bloodshot eyes, "Humans? Do you really think you can defeat us?" The monsters laughed and charged at Momotaro and his companions. But Momotaro stood firm. With his sword in hand, he and his loyal companions fought bravely. The dog bit the monsters with its sharp teeth. The monkey jumped around and confused the monsters with his quick movements. And the pheasant attacked from the sky with swift strikes. Finally, even the monster leader fell to his knees, covered in bruises. He cried out, "Please, spare us. We won't do any more harm. We will return all the treasures we've stolen." Momotaro looked down at the leader calmly and said, "Swear that you will never attack the village again." The monsters, shaking with fear, promised, and Momotaro claimed victory. Momotaro took back the stolen treasures from the monsters and, along with his companions, returned to the village. The villagers welcomed him back with cheers and praised his bravery and sense of justice. Thus, Momotaro became a hero, and his story of courage and kindness was passed down for generations.